The Brum Radio shop is now open, with all sorts of Brum Radio stuff with everything from t-shirts and hoodies to mugs and posters and much more. Support Brum Radio. Go to brumradio.com and click on shop.
Thank you for downloading this Brum Radio podcast. For more podcasts, visit brumradio.com.
Welcome to the Freak Scene podcast with me, Dave Travis, promoter, photographer and friend to the stars, some of whom pop into the Brum Radio studios for a chat. If you want to listen to the whole show, which includes the music, then pop along to mixcloud.com/Brum Radio. You're listening to Freak Scene with our first international, multi-international broadcast. We're playing that because we have Dave Newton, who used to obviously play with the Mighty Lemon Drops, and he's in Burbank, California. So hello, Dave.
Hey up, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. A little hot over here. And we've also got Eddie Argos from Art Brut, who's in Berlin, in Germany. Hello, Eddie.
Hello.
It's all going very well so far, isn't it? Yeah, so...
It's very confusing that we're in different countries and also you're both called Dave. I think that's going to make it more confusing.
Yeah, so there is two Daves. That is a problem. And of course, I'm called Dave, and my son's called Eddie. So that's
Really?
even better. He was 20 last week, so that's even more confusing.
Happy birthday, Eddie!
Yeah, so we're I think he's still celebrating, so it's okay. And we're here today because there's a new album out. Was it 3 weeks ago, Dave? Dave Newton and the Mighty Angels.
Yep. Yeah, it came out on the 14th of August, and so that's my first ever solo record.
No, we're going to be playing some tracks off it later. It's an absolutely amazing album, and Eddie's here because apart from being a long-time friend of yours, he also did vocals on the single, didn't he? Which was released again a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's great.
He did.
So,
like we have the same favourite songs.
Yes, that's it. So what was the single called, Dave?
The single it's called "The Songs That Changed Our Lives," and it's funny because I'd kind of had the backing track knocking around for a little while, and I hadn't really got a vocal for it, and then I had the idea of just putting a list of some of my favourite records, and then I don't know. I thought I asked Eddie if he'd be up for doing the vocal on it, and he said yeah. And but I said free range if you want, Rain to if you want to change any of the songs around, and he actually said no. I actually really,
right.
I really like all of the songs.
Yeah.
On there.
So these are all your choices, are they, Dave?
They're both of our choices, really. Initially, they were mine, but
they're Dave's choices.
Okay.
Yeah, I agreed.
Yes. There's some fantastic tracks here. And you did a little video as well, didn't you, Dave? Was that you in your home in Burbank?
Yeah. That was
the sleeves.
Technology. That was literally just got all the records out, put me phone on a tripod, and pressed record and just played the track and just did it. It took 2 minutes and 30 seconds to make.
Yeah.
Which is a lot shorter than what the Mighty Lemon Drops and I'm sure Art Brut would spend making their videos.
Well, yeah, in the 80s it would have taken 2 days, involved 10 people and cost £25,000, wouldn't it? So it's amazing work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know,
yeah. So we're going to be playing some of those. There's some of my absolute favourites here as well. So and we're going to be playing some tracks off the album. And you've had great reviews for the album, haven't you, so far? And quite rightly as well. It's a brilliant album.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I kind of just did it. I had zero expectations, really. I just kind of did it. I know everybody's saying that they did all their stuff in lockdown or whatever, but I'd had the songs knocking about for a while and never really thought of putting them together. They were all kind of half-finished ideas and stuff that I'd got. And, it was just having all this spare time because nobody, because the closest thing I have to resembling a day job is recording bands and artists in my studio, and obviously it's not really the smartest, safest thing to be doing at the moment, so I've had a lot of time on my hands. So I just thought, why don't I put an album together? So, and that's how this song, that's how the album came about.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, it's a brilliant album. I think before we're going to play some tracks later, and we're going to play some of your and Eddie's favourite tracks as well that are mentioned in the single. But before we do that, I mean, Art Brut are another of my favourite bands. I mean, how long have you been doing Art Brut for, Eddie?
Oh, ages. I realised recently. We're supposed to be doing the 15th anniversary of Bang Rock and Roll, like a little tour this year. Well, that didn't happen, obviously.
No.
So, what's that, 15 years plus a year and a half? 16 and a half years, I think, Art Brut have been going.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I was out of town. You played in Birmingham, was it a couple of years ago? And annoyingly, I was out of town and couldn't see it, which was a real pity. But I know a lot of people that went along and said it was brilliant.
Where was it? It was a strange... I kept calling it a small village outside of Birmingham.
It was King's Heath.
But with the audience. I can't remember where it was, but yeah, it was
Yes,
fun.
King's. I think it was the Hare and Hounds in King's Heath, wasn't it? That's we seem to mention that every show. We like to think it's a small village. Yeah, that's where I live. So yeah, it is. It's got a village square, so it's a village, isn't it? That's the way I see it. And the Hare and Hounds is it's sadly not open at the moment due to the current situation, but hopefully, hopefully back soon. So I'm going to play, if you don't mind, I'm going to play one of my favourite Art Brut songs, which seems apt at this moment, and that's "Formed a Band."
Yay.
That's the amazing Art Brut and "Formed a Band." I love that track. It's very, it just shows the confidence, doesn't it, of people when they start bands. And I love the lyrics as well. It's just like starts off just more or less just formed a band, isn't it? Just really good, really good.
I made them up on the spot. It's funny it became a single because I was just riffing, really. And
Is that right?
The first recording, the rough trade version of that, you can kind of hear me making it up on the spot. It's like one take, and I'm just saying lots of things. I think
that's even more impressive, isn't it? But so we're
even the bit where I say like, yes, this is my singing voice. It's because when I first started singing the song, that Keith, who was recording it, stopped all the music and went, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" I was like, "This is my singing voice," and that's how the got into it. So it's all just sort of in the moment, that song.
That's amazing. That's even more impressive. So we're going to go on to play some of the tracks that are mentioned on Songs That Changed Our Lives. And music is a bit like that, isn't it? I'm a little bit older than I think both of you, but so I was sort of able to get...
Not much, Dave. Not much. I'm catching up.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll stop and wait for you then. But, yeah, but I was lucky enough to sort of go through all the punk gigs and everything. There's a lot of tracks that we're going to be playing, like the Mekons and Subway Sect that luckily I was able to see, and lots more beside. But we're going to start off with, don't know if you want to introduce it, Dave, Bob and Marcia, to be Young, Gifted and Black.
Young, Gifted and Black, yeah. That's what, it's funny that, because it's like, it's weird living in America now, because like growing up in England, like you had, like even though Radio 1, that much maligned, you could like make fun of it and that, but it was great because it was like unformatted. You'd play all different types of music, whereas in America you don't get that. You get a rock station, or you get a pop top 40 station. You get an oldies station. You get, whereas you get everything, wouldn't you? I mean, I know it's changed a lot, but in the 70s it was, I know we used to make fun of all the DJs and that, but.
There were some characters, weren't there, on Radio 1 in those days?
That certainly was. But it was great because like you could buy reggae records, then you'd buy a glam rock record by The Sweet or Slade, and then you'd go by, like my older sister was into like soul music, for instance. So it was great, really, that there was all this stuff, and that's how I know this Young, Gifted and Black.
Fantastic track. That brings back memories. Was that one of your favourites as well, Eddie?
Yeah. I mean, of course, it's a brilliant song. Yeah. I was just saying, like when I first met Dave, I knew some of my Lemon Drop songs, but I was like, having a look what all the albums were called, and one was called Young, Gifted and Black Country, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna like this guy. I think it was like.
So how did you two meet?
It's funny.
First time we met.
Go ahead.
You go first, Dave.
It's funny. The first time you ever came to we've actually met in. Actually, you know what? because you played in LA on your first American tour, and you played at Spaceland.
Yeah. And Echo, we played both. Yeah.
And I didn't go. Becky, my wife, went, and I don't know why I didn't go, and I feel really bad about it now. But she went, and she came back.
Interview over.
You've been listening to Freak Scene on Brum Radio.
She came home and she was like, "Oh my God, you will absolutely love it," because I knew formed a band, and she goes, "You've got to, you'd love them. They're amazing." And we met shortly afterwards. I think the first time I met you was in London, even.
I think when you were recording the Little Ones, I met you with my ex-girlfriend at the Spanish bar. Like, I think it was even when the drinking laws hadn't changed yet, so it was like an after-hours drinking place, and we got absolutely hammered and spoke about denim for ages. And then we met again properly when I visited you. Next time we played in LA, I went to your house, I think.
That's right. That's when we really. That's right. Then because you're in LA. Then when I would go, generally, I'd go to the UK once a year. But you're right, I was working with the Little Ones and I was in London. That was like 2007, 6, 7.
Wow.
Something. Good. It was a long time ago. Blimey.
And is this the first sort of time you've sort of worked together on a track?
No, well, we had a band called Everybody Was in the French Resistance Now.
Yes, that's right.
And then Dave became the guitar player.
Yes,
I did. We did a European tour. It was like a month long, and it's really funny. The Birmingham gig, which was put in, it was kind of put in at the last minute, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a warm up, I think, or something.
It was kind of an odd. It was like a warm up thing, and there was another band on the bill. I can't remember who they were. Who were like local, and they were like really young and really really popular. And they had about like 400 or 500 people in. Who basically came to see them, and then we came on.
Which venue was that, Dave?
It was the one. Was it the Flapper and Firkin?
Oh, Flapper and Firkin, yeah.
On the canal.
Is that right, Eddie?
I think it was in the canal, wasn't it? I think I remember that because we were joking about how we should do a canal tour in a boat. I remember that. I was driving down the country in a canal boat.
Yes,
it wasn't enough ridiculousness.
Because
anyway.
We played Dingwalls a few days later.
That was it. That's why we were talking about it. Yeah, because
we were like, God, we should just do a tour based around canals.
I think they're planning on turning that into flats now. So it's a bit of a pity.
Really?
Yeah, that's because it used to be the longboat years ago in the 70s, and it was good.
I vaguely remember that. It's a part of Birmingham that I don't really know that well.
No,
Being from Wolverhampton.
No, it's changed a lot over the last sort of 20 years all around there anyway. But there you go.
Yeah, it was a good gig, but good venue though.
It was a great tour. It was a European tour, wasn't it? We did was it like 6 weeks or a month or something together we did around?
Yeah, it was at least a month.
We flew you to Europe to do the European dates, and we flew Ian to America to do the American dates.
Yeah.
Everyone got on holiday. It was nice. It was loads of I had a great time. It was that's a.
Yeah, we should try and fit everyone's in the French Resistance track in later, shouldn't we? If we get time, if we've only got 2 hours, but
that'd be nice, yeah,
it's good.
Maybe, which one do you think? Maybe Girlfriend.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that sounds.
It was a concept band, so every song was a response to somebody else's song. So like Girlfriend was a response to Avril Lavigne, and Gold Digger was a response to Kanye West. Gold Digger, Superglue was a response to Connection by Elastica. It was a good fun. It was a game as well, really. It was quite fun to sort of reply to all those songs.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
And we actually used... We did. We recorded that's right, the first 3 or 4 songs. I think we did out there. That's right.
You two only pretended to record there, yeah? We really did it.
Yeah.
That's right. You two actually didn't. That is correct.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, well, that's good. Let's move on to one of the other tracks off the songs that changed our lives. And this is one of my favourites, Camper van Beethoven. We'll talk about it a little bit first, Paul, before we play it. But Take the Skinheads Bowling, that was... Because, Dave, you remember, obviously, I used to run the Click Club at Burberry's on Broad Street in the 80s. I think you were the third band to play, though, weren't you? In 86?
Yeah, I think we were. Yeah, we were. I mean, I would go. It's so funny because looking at the on the sites and on Facebook and that. I can't believe how many gigs I saw there and how many shows and how many like up and coming bands like that. I mean, you really you had them all, Dave. You certainly did. It was a great place.
Yeah, it was just purely selfish, really. We got offered, myself and Steve Coxon got offered the venue, and I sort of booked most of it and just put on stuff that I wanted to see myself. So it's brilliant, really. Saved me travelling around. That was it was laziness, ex-art student laziness that caused it. But it's a great thing to do, just to be able to any. I mean, I even put stuff on that I knew wasn't going to make any money. Was going to lose money just because. I wanted to see him, really, and it worked out cheaper than having to travel to London and stay in a hotel or whatever. But Campervan, but Take the Skinheads Bowling was one of the tracks that was played every week, and it sort of became almost like a sort of theme. There was a few tracks that were like that, and I actually managed to book the bands to play at Burberry's. Because when the agent said, I don't know if you've heard of this band, Campervan Beethoven, it's like, you know what it's like, both of you know what it's like if you're talking to an agent, you can't show any enthusiasm or the price goes up. But but it was great. And when they played, it was one of those tracks that everybody liked, you know, that even the security, even the doorman liked it. And when they played Take the Skinheads Bowling, the security locked the doors and came in and watched it with everybody. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a lovely moment. I remember it well. I obviously had my eye on the door, make sure no one was coming in. Didn't want to lose any money.
Yeah, of course.
So I was sort of conflicted there between looking through the door and looking at the band. But let's listen to this. Is a fantastic track. Let's listen to Campervan Beethoven. Oh, there we go. Campervan Beethoven. Take the Skinheads Bowling. Still play it regularly as well. That was really good. So we're going to move on to the next one. Is the Jackson 5. I Want You Back.
Great song. Whatever happened to whatever happened to them? You never heard much of the singer bloke, did you? Really? Whatever happened to him?
No, yeah. I mean, just amazingly talented, obviously, but you know, gosh, I don't know what goes on. We certainly can't speculate, that's for sure. Yeah.
Being an old git, I remember the TV show.
Yes, me. Yeah, there was the cartoon, wasn't there? Cartoon show. Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember it was on.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I used to watch it in the 60s, I think. 69, something like that, was it? 69, 70?
I think it was still in the early 70s.
Oh, was it?
Because there was was there an Osmonds one as well, I think? A cartoon.
Oh, right.
Maybe.
Yeah, okay, I
think so. Yeah.
No, I don't remember the Osmonds, but I certainly remember the Jackson 5. And I think I remember seeing... I think they were on because another program I used to love was the Andy Williams show. Again, I missed Andy Williams when he played Birmingham a few years ago. He's sadly dead now, but I used to love the Andy Williams show, and he had some fantastic guests on there. I'm sure I saw the Jackson 5 on there when Michael Jackson was probably only about 5 or 6. But, yeah, amazingly talented. So
I think on the song, I think the song we're going to play, "I Want You Back," I think he's around that age, maybe a bit older.
Yeah,
8 or 9, maybe.
Yeah, that's it's phenomenal, isn't it? Really, it's just natural talent. So so let's listen to the Jackson 5. That's a Jackson 5, and I Want You Back. That's just raw natural talent, isn't it? It's just phenomenal, really. And so we're going to move on a little bit now. There's one of my favourite bands, The Prefects. I mean, Dave, you know The Prefects well. Eddie, you're aware of The Prefects?
Yeah, I was just saying, we were just talking when the song was playing that I did a tour with I know the Nightingales a lot more, and I did a tour with them. I was DJing after them with them and Ted Chippington, and actually it's Dave that got me into the Nightingales. They played in Los Angeles, and you told me to go along and watch them. So it was
that's right.
Yeah, I love them now. They're one of my favourite bands.
Because I'm still promoting. Nightingales are one of the bands that I still promote. We were supposed to do a show in April, which obviously didn't. Was it October?
I think I was going to come to a few of those shows.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah, we've put that back to next year now, so hopefully that'll go on as well. Yeah, and we did a show with Ted Chippington as well, supporting, who is again comedy genius.
Yeah, it was. It was like a week and a half I did with them, and like just all of us in the back of a van. It was kind of amazing, and things like in Leipzig, in an art space place, Robert Lloyd said to Ted Chippington, "Ed, how long do you think you can do without saying anything on stage?" And Ted was like, "Ooh, 15 minutes." The whole time just going like, like he was going to start talking, and he didn't. And, like, some Germans got it. It's all in Germany too, so like some Germans found it really. I don't know. It was just. And at the end of the week, I said to Robert Lloyd, like, "Oh, Robert, this is one of the best weeks of my life." Yeah. And he said, "Why?" like a really disappointed voice. It really was. I had a great time with them. I mean, I love the prefix too.
Fantastic.
I suppose it was one of the best weeks of your life, Eddie, but it was just another of Rob's weeks of his life.
It just is. Yeah, it's just his life is like that all the time. That's true.
Ted Chippington is a comedy genius, really, and I think
back to the band with all those people was like amazing. It was just like a really funny time.
Yeah. No, we put him on, let's say, with a night together. We did Stuart Lee, who cites Ted Chippington as being a major influence on his career. Stuart Lee, we did a gig with Stuart Lee and the Nightingales as well a couple of years ago, which was really good.
I saw that one in London. I saw that the one that's filmed. You can actually just about there's a trailer for the movie that they're making on YouTube.
Yes.
And you can just about see me and Becky in some of the footage.
Is that the Moth Club?
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah. No, I saw I went to a sort of showing before they'd finish. Was it Michael Cummings and Stuart Lee just before they'd finished the final edit? So I saw about sort of 40 minutes of it. But there was some footage from that. I didn't notice you were in it. I'll have to next time I see it. I'll have to keep an eye.
You have to like look and squint, and we're not prominent in it, but. It's really funny. I remember seeing Ted Chippington really early on supporting Dangerous Girls at JB's. And he had dreadlocks at the time. He had long hair.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, he'd seem now and again he'd pop up with various people. But I definitely saw him with Dangerous Girls and a few other Brum bands.
But at the end of that night in Leipzig too, because after the Nightingales finished playing, Ed got on stage and played the drums to "In the Air Tonight" by Phil Collins. It was also I've got video of it somewhere. It was also it was a very good night.
Oh, well, I'd love to see that.
I would love to see that.
Dave got me into both the Nightingales and the Prefects and Ted Chippington. You lent me, Dave, The Man in a Suitcase or something. You lent me like a
Ted Chippington album, yeah.
Ted Chippington too. It was great.
That's right. I remember buying that. I bought that at again. It was a Nightingales Ted Chippington gig in. Actually, that was around the time that I met you. It was when I was in London working again with the little ones. Mm-hmm. And on the night off, they played at the Bull and Gate, Nightingales and Ted Chippington, and that's when I bought the box set.
Oh, is that the massive album right there? I can't remember. It's about 4 or 5 CDs or something, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I went down to the Bloomsbury in London. I don't. It must be well over 12, 15 years ago, and Stuart Lee had organised a gig down there, and he appeared, and Richard Herring and Simon Amstel, and the Nightingales were sort of like the house band for the night, and they play a track, and Rob got drunker and drunker as the night went on, so each link was slightly more chaotic, but absolutely brilliant. Only the way that Rob can. It was an amazing night. Yeah, and I bought the album because obviously no one's going to give me one, so I bought the album that night. I've still got it. But that's almost a complete Ted, isn't it?
It is. One of the super quick Nightingales one. I saw one of their first ever gigs. There was a place in Shifnal called the Star Hotel. It was a short train ride from Wolverhampton, and they played there. It was like 1980, so it was just after the Prefects, and I did a fanzine at the time, and I interviewed Rob Lloyd. And but it never came out, unfortunately. Oh. But I've still got some photos of the gig of the OG Nightingales lineup.
Yeah. All right. Did you still got the? Oh, it wasn't. You didn't tape the interview with Rob, did you? You just wrote it down, or?
I think I wrote it down. Yeah. I think I could afford a tape recorder at that point.
The price of portable tape recorders was through the roof, wasn't it? Yeah, but the Prefects there, because they split up before they released anything, didn't they? So they didn't actually. And they had
the prefects.
Yeah, and I think they were only together for probably just under 2 years. But I mean, they played on the Clash White Riot tour, and they did. Yeah, they're generally regarded as being Birmingham's first punk band. In fact, I was out with I was going for a drink with Paul Appley last night, who was the drummer in the Prefects and the Nightingales.
Yeah, absolutely, and Nightingales.
Yeah, I seem to have over the last 30 years, the ex-members of the Nightingales seem to have made up a lot of my drinking companions. So not sure what that's. Eamon Duffy and Pete Birchmore and Paul Appley, Appo as we know him. So
fantastic.
But we're going to play. Yeah, that's Paul's very well. He's retired now. So
what was his job? He was a fireman.
He was a firefighter, as they prefer to be called now.
Firefighter.
Firefighter. Yeah, so he's retired, and I don't know. He's not drummed. He's had because he's played in. Yeah, I don't know if you know my partner Marie. He's played in some of her bands as well. He's I think he's a great drummer. I mean, he just used to play just like stand-up drummer. With you wouldn't think enough drums to be functional, but he's But he's just not interested in it anymore. And of course, Frank Skinner he auditioned, didn't he? Paul and Alan Appley auditioned Frank for the vocal spot in the Prefects. Oh. But he's
in the film, isn't he? I heard about that.
Yeah.
They auditioned him again in the film, I think they were saying.
Yeah, he's called. I can't remember his name. It's Chris Collins, I think, is Frank's real name. And so he turned up to, and I think Paul and Alan made him do an audition out on the street outside a pub, but
Brilliant.
Yeah, it didn't work out for him. But yeah, so let's listen to the Prefects again. One of my favourite tracks of all time. This
one's a very short one.
Going Through the Motions.
Oh, go on.
Showing off at the end. I didn't want to talk over the end of Paul's drumming now. I'd never hear the end of it. That's the Prefects and Going Through the Motions, which is one of the choices of Dave Newton and Eddie Argos, our guest this evening on Brum Radio. That's an incredible track, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Great.
I did a faux pas, by the way. I didn't think you were playing that one. I thought you were playing Barbarella's. And I said, this one's really short, because I think...
Yeah.
And that's actually... And Going Through the Motions is about 5 minutes long. So I apologise to the listeners.
Oh, yeah, okay. I don't. No one would have probably... We'll edit that out, actually. No one would have noticed, would they? I'll tell you what we should do. As a spoiler, we should play something... why don't we play songs that changed our lives? But then again, everybody will know what we're going to be playing in the show, but I don't think it really matters, does it?
They can anticipate it and be excited.
They can, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Exactly.
So this is... Let's do that. Let's play. This is David Newton, The Mighty Angels, Songs That Changed Our Lives, featuring Eddie Argos on vocals. This is a cracker. The sun. I say well done, chaps. That's an absolute belter, isn't it?
Thank you.
Great. It was great fun to sing. It was good. I really enjoyed singing.
So how did you do it physically? I mean, did you do it from Berlin or?
Yeah, Dave sent me the track and the lyrics, and I could change them. I was like, I don't want to change these. These are right.
Yeah. Okay, so you just did your bit and emailed it across.
Didn't pick it up properly. So yeah, that was the plan. But then it just took about. Dave sent me a microphone, and I used a different laptop. It took about 5 different goes to get it right.
Okay.
It was all technical stuff. It wasn't Eddie's. It wasn't. Give yourself credit there, Eddie. It was more the technical side than your fantastic performance.
No, it is. It is.
By the end, I knew it really well. Normally, I have to sing things from a piece of paper. We did it so many times because it went wrong so many times. I know it off by heart now. I know it. I know it very well.
Might come in handy if you ever. I mean, I guess if things change in the future, do you plan on touring this or? I mean, who played the other instruments? Did you play everything, Dave, or did you get people in?
I actually on this one I didn't. I do on a lot of the stuff, but I had it was a track that I was going to do again because a lot of the things on my album are from over a 10-year period, really, and it's actually the drummer on it is a guy named Jeff Sullivan who's in the band Driving and Crying. I don't know if you know them, the American band.
Don't think so.
Atlanta, Georgia. And my friend Chris Skane actually played bass on that too, who's been in a bunch of different bands and I've played with before. And So that's actually one that I don't actually play everything on that. I do the guitars and the backing vocals.
Yeah.
And Eddie did the vocal, and that just makes it what it is. It's brilliant.
No, it is. No, it's the vocals work really well on that track, don't they? Definitely. Who did the vocals on the other tracks on the album?
Actually, me.
You did. Is that right?
Yeah, I think I did. There's Sarah from a band called Happy Hollows sings on one song with me, but it's actually me. I did. Yeah, it's funny because I never really thought of myself as a vocalist.
No, I didn't realise that. I didn't realise that, Dave. I don't mean to sound too surprised.
No. Yeah. There's none. Trust me, there's none more surprised than me.
Oh, okay, yeah. The guitarist steps out the shadows like Noel Gallagher, and turns out to be a great singer as well. Well, I wouldn't consider myself a great singer, but I think I can just about do the job. Well, I'd like to play a few more tracks later on. We'll sort of pepper them through this, and there's some incredible tracks. So this is fun, though. Whatever you want to do, Dave, it's up to you. Yeah, that's it. You couldn't stop me, really, could you? Suppose? Yeah. No, I'm surprised. I must have known you for nearly 40 years, Dave. It's funny today because I had a Facebook memory came up of. It was the contact sheets from a photo session you did with one of my first bands, Active Restraint, and it was May 1983
at the Wren's Nest in Dudley.
That's correct.
That's right.
Well remembered.
So it's amazing, really. I mean, I've done goodness knows how many photo sessions and stuff, but some you just remember really well. And that was a fun day out, wasn't it? I liked the Wren's Nest, and
yeah, it's great. It's really fun. I mean, I can't remember actually how I did meet you though. It was obviously before that.
It must have been about 1982.
Yeah, it's crazy. God, that's a long time ago. 38 years ago.
Yeah, 38 years. Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
You wouldn't think we're old enough, would you, to have known someone for 38 years?
Really.
Yeah, but no. Of course, the success with the Mighty Lemon Drops was good. I put you on a few times. That was I saw some great gigs as well. I think I've said many times that one of my top 10 all-time favourite gigs was your appearance at the Sensiteria at the Xanadu Rooms. When you played behind that sheet. I think we spoke about it last time you were on. That was that was a brilliant gig.
Well, that was, I don't know if anybody who's listening remembers the Sensiteria. It was a Thursday night, kind of like, what would you call it, Dave? The night it was like a
psychedelic night. Yeah. It's Mac, and he still puts those nights on sporadically now.
Get out, really?
Yeah, no, he's been doing it for since 84, I think, 83, 84. So yeah, nearly 40 years, and it's just every few months. But he's just got
that's great.
He's got impeccable taste in music. He really he booked some incredible bands. Saw people like Spaceman 3 and all sorts of people down there.
Yeah. They played that too. Yeah, I think. Yeah. I think I saw them at JB's Dudley used to have a Tuesday night, the free like kind of audition night.
Yeah.
And I saw Spaceman 3 at that, and no one was really that interested in them, and I watched them. I thought they were great. They were totally unknown at the time. They didn't have a record out or anything.
No.
But yeah.
No, I promoted them a few times as well. So Eddie, you've not always lived in Berlin, I guess. Have you? When did you?
I'm not German. No. Yeah.
You can tell by the accent.
Yeah.
The giveaway.
Yeah. No, I'm from Dorset, and I moved to London as soon as I could, about 2021 or something.
Oh, okay.
And then Los Angeles for a little bit near Dave, and then Berlin.
Oh, okay. So what venues did you go to in London? Did you? Because not a lot of bands played Dorset, I guess.
No, there was a place called Mr. Smith's that bands would come to. I think Kanicki played there, and
oh yeah,
and other stuff. My band would play there regularly, and then that was it really. And then I moved to London. It's just all the classics, like when I lived in Camden, so Walls, and I mean we came along with that New Cross. There's a lot going on in New Cross when my band started, so. Kind of the Montague Arms and all those sort of venues down there as well.
Yeah,
that's funny because I thought you were from New Cross at first because I remember the New Cross scene. I remember that. No, and that's what I thought you were from.
It
was like us and Block Party and the Longbottoms. I mean, the Longbottoms lived in Sheffield, so the New Cross scene was because we recorded a song called Top of the Pops where all those bands said their names, you know, like, and the Top of the Pops. And we thought that everyone lived in New Cross. On the sheet for the day, we put the Long Blondes on at like 9 a.m, and they came from Sheffield in the middle of the night to record it. So it's like, yeah.
Wow.
I think no one really lived. Oh, some of those people lived in New Cross, but not many of them. We were all just. I moved to Camden to be in a band, and then all of a sudden, I had to go to New Cross all the time. It was a bit strange. The night by time.
Yeah. Okay. So what time was that? What sort of year was that?
2002, 2003.
Okay.
Kind of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it really was the New Cross scene. I've been lumped into lots of different stuff, but the New Cross scene really was actually like quite a DIY. We were all mates. We all went to watch each other's bands. Maybe not Block Party. Everybody else went to watch each other's bands. You know, like I saw the Long Blondes a load, the Boyfriends, Violet. You know, all those. I'm still friends with people that I met in London. Those are the people that I'm still good friends with too.
Yeah.
Like Keith TOTP, you know, like it was a proper scene, I would say.
Okay. So when did you move to Berlin?
I moved when or why?
When and why, I guess. Yeah.
Well, when I moved to Berlin, 10 years ago. My German should be a bit better, really.
Yeah.
And I moved for different reasons, really. We played a gig in Nuremberg, and I saw how cheap the rent was and how nice the life was.
Yeah.
I might move to Nuremberg. And my friend said, "Don't move to Nuremberg. You can move to Berlin." So I like Germany a lot too. We played here a lot. We did quite well in Germany. I had a job. I could DJ at an indie disco and sort of. When I first moved here, so it was that was part of the reason. The politics in the UK, I wanted to leave really.
Yeah.
It was right about when the coalition government started 10 years ago.
Well, you thought it was bad then.
I could see what was coming on the horizon.
Yes.
I got out.
Yeah, I think even in our worst nightmares, we couldn't see what was coming on the horizon.
Yeah. But the last thing, because literally we packed the van to leave for Berlin. I went on Steve Lamac's round table and did like the thing. And as I was leaving, I got in a very bad mood about like British politics and stuff. It was like a scorched earth. Like on Six Music, because I was leaving the country. I'm leaving the country now. Like in my van, and I'm never coming back. So it was a bit of that. I mean, I love Berlin, you know. I really like where I live. So it's,
So do you go to see a lot of bands in Berlin?
More when I became a dad a few years ago. So
it's everything, doesn't it? Yeah, I did that.
He's come to quite a few like sound check and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I managed to catch. There's quite a good scene at the moment in Berlin. There's like Shy Bits are really good, and Sophia Portinet, I sort of see them. And there's a really good festival called Synesthesia. There's like a psych kind of rock fest. It's pretty good. Like the drummer from Can played last year, and the Black Lips and everything. It's pretty good. I interviewed Anton Newcomb and Alan McGee for a thing. There's quite a nice thing. It was quite funny interviewing Alan McGee because I think you're supposed to ask him about like love, you know, like My Bloody Valentine and stuff. But I really, really like the Jazz Butcher. So I was like, tell me about the Jazz Butcher. We did that after the interview, not in the public. He told me about Jazz Butcher. I think no one else was interested as me about Jazz Butcher. But but it was. I mean, there's a lot happening in Berlin actually. So I mean, I love where I live. I live near the pub called 8mm, and they play basically every song we mention in this song is like the playlist in that bar, so it's quite nice.
Brilliant.
Yep, sounds good. And you've been in Burbank, California for decades now, haven't you, Dave?
I have, 1990, 25 years this year, and I love it. It's I moved to London in 1990, and I really liked it there. I was there. The Lemon Drops was still going when I moved to London. And we finally called it a day in 92. And then a couple of years after that, I was working at Record and Tape Exchange, which I think everyone who used to be in a band, where they if you don't know what to do, they'll give you a job at, Music and Video Exchange, as it was called by then. And so I did that for a couple of years, and it was great. I had a really good time. I met loads of people. Like, I'm still good friends with a lot of people, and I played with Blue Aeroplanes for a bit as well after the Lemon Drops.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Did you sell any Mighty Lemon Drops records when you were working at the Tape Exchange?
God, it was hilarious. It was so funny. Like journalists and like people from bands would come in like with their Mighty 11 Drops records.
Sign them for them.
No. It was funny. But so I did that then. I know then, we were living in London and we were both working, but we never really had any money. Like myself and my wife I'm talking about, and she had a decent job, and we just thought one day, why don't we try moving to LA for a bit? And we thought we'd give it a go, give it a year or two just to see what happened. And that was 1995. And here I am now. Here we are now.
No, sounds good. So a bit jealous, really, because I fancy a change, but I've just got too much stuff now. Just need a mass.
Well, in 95, when we moved over, we shipped 93 boxes of our stuff. I think like 10 of them were records and CDs and stuff.
That's the problem. Yeah, I mean, I used to have about 25,000 albums and CDs and singles.
Wow.
But I had so many. It is that literally you couldn't see the wood for the trees, because if you wanted to play something, you just couldn't find it. So I did sort it out. I got it down to about 6,000 or 7,000 now, but it's still too many, really.
I did that with CDs. We did that. Like I had like 10,000 CDs, and I was just going through them one day, and I think I had like 7 Soundgarden albums. It's like I don't even like Soundgarden. Well, I got 7 of their albums.
Yeah.
So I did I think I've got it down to about 2,000 now.
Yeah.
I still have loads of records, or vinyls as the kids call it.
Vinyls, yeah. They'll always be records to us.
Exactly. But I don't count them, but I kept all those.
But I've got all my CDs. I've got digitally, so I don't really. I don't know. There must be 3,000 CDs.
Yeah,
and
I'd say about the same.
Yeah, I do occasionally put one on. I do quite like I've never really got attached to CDs like I did with records, especially 7-inch singles. I've got a short attention span.
I agree.
Yeah, so there's something about taking a single out of its sleeve, isn't there, and putting the needle on the vinyl.
I don't know about you, or any of you, but I don't really feel that I own it unless I actually have it in some physical form, whether it's even on CD or on vinyl or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I've amassed so much nonsense throughout the years, though, that owning stuff is getting less and less important. You spend most of your life accumulating stuff, and then you look at it and you think, why the hell have I got this? Why do I have a Mr. T money bank? You know what I mean?
Yeah. 7 Soundgarden albums.
7 Soundgarden, yeah, that's it.
I feel like about an intervention or something. Yeah. You're hoarding, and I should be dudes. You need to stop.
Do you travel light then, Eddie? Did you when you moved?
No, I mean, yeah, I've not got thousands. I've had records, of course. I like your 7 inches, but
me too.
CDs I've got mainly things you can't get on. I've got like lots of Yummy Fur CDs and stuff that you can't really find online. But yeah, I've got, when I moved house last time, like a load of my records and comics and books got stolen, so that kind of forced me to go down a little bit. But yeah,
it's nature's way, isn't it? That happens to a lot of people.
Like, yeah. I mean, records and books are so heavy. Whenever you move house, it's like, why do I like these things? These are like heaviest things in the world. Yeah,
no, I gave away, gosh, it must be 4 massive boxes to charity of books. So. They were just, I've read them. I've never read a book twice. So.
But living in Berlin sort of stopped me buying so many books because loads of them were in German. I can't.
Yes.
In England, I'd go in a charity shop and just leave with loads of books, and I can't do that here. So it's okay.
No. Okay.
Right.
Shall we listen? Let's listen to some music. We got another one off songs that changed our lives. Subway Sect, Ambition. Shall I just keep? There we go. There we go. It's Subway Sect and Ambition. And Vic Goddard's still going, isn't he? I don't know. I haven't seen him play for a while, but another amazing career. He also sang on Nightingale's track, didn't he?
Did he? Last year. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's like what's it called? Commercial.
Commercial
suicide or something?
Commercial suicide, man.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's really good.
It is, yeah. I mean, I don't want to...
I love Vic Goddard. I discovered, it's weird. I discovered Vic Goddard because years ago, somebody put on a tape for me, Clouds Over Liverpool. Which is not by him, it's by the TVP, isn't it?
Teenage film stars?
Teenage film stars, yeah. But they didn't put on it who it was by. and it's before the internet, so I just went into record shops and would guess like who maybe recorded this song.
Yeah.
So I got a Big Goddard and all kind of different things just by trying to figure out who released this song.
Yeah.
I got really into Big Goddard because of that.
Yeah,
Even though
yeah.
he didn't actually record that song.
No, another amazing performer, really. It's
I love him.
He's brilliant.
yeah,
Ace?
yeah. I think we're going to next. I think we'll do another track off your album. And I've just picked a few out, so we'll just pepper them through. So this is David Newton, The Mighty Angels, This Time. This Time by David Newton, The Mighty Angels. And my guests, if you just tuned in, my guests this week are Dave Newton from The Mighty Angels and Eddie Argos from Art Brut. That's a cracker, isn't it? And what a great length as well. It was about 2 minutes.
Perfect length.
It is, the pop song. I mean, it's it's just something like that. It's just perfect. You've always been able to write a good tune, haven't you, Dave?
Oh, thank you. I try. It's really funny talking of short songs. What's that? Do you know Jeremy Page? He used to be in Rumblefish.
That's right.
And all that.
Yeah.
His new band, all their songs are like 1 minute 20, 1 minute 30.
The Asteroids.
Yeah, it's really good.
They've got an 11-year-old drummer as well, which is amazing. Because we were talking about putting a gig on in Birmingham before we weren't allowed to have fun anymore. So
you should do that. You should do that.
Yeah, well, if I'm not too old when everything opens up again and still alive, then yeah, definitely I'd love to do that. But yeah, no, they are. They're just like a minute and a half, minute and 20, aren't they?
Yeah, it's great.
But
it's really good stuff.
Yeah, Jeremy's an old punk as well, isn't he? An old middle-class punk like myself.
Yeah, I remember him. We played with Rumblefish a couple of times. I remember him from obviously your clubs and Birmingham and Burberry's and all that stuff.
Yes,
back in the day.
He's retired to the countryside now, so
that's right.
Yeah, he's lorded a manor in a village in Wales. Yeah,
that was really nice. He said some really nice things about my new record, and in fact, like him and Rupert, he actually bought it as well.
I saw that. Yeah,
I know, which is like really sweet, and Dominic as well. Dominic Crane.
That's it, because they were in Low Art Thrill as well, weren't they? Along with Rob Holiday, who was later in Marilyn Manson and the Prodigy.
So it was really nice to get like the thumbs up from people like that. It was really, it was really rewarding.
Yeah,
nice.
But it's great. I mean, you must know it's quality stuff. I mean, are you so close to it that you're not sure, or?
I don't. To be honest, I don't. But thank you for saying that.
Is it that black country modesty?
I think it is. Yes.
I'll tell you what. Now we're going to play a track next, which I think I know that you love, Darren. I think you do as well, Eddie, and that's Leighton Buzzards. And
Dave played to me for the first time, actually.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. I saw the Leighton Buzzards at Smarties Club in Chester in 1979, something like that.
I saw that photo that you took, Dave. Which I'll send that to you, Eddie. It's amazing. It's a really good pick.
Yeah, I took quite a few. Yeah,
it's such a good song. It was so good meeting Dave and being like, I like all these bands. And he was like, I like all these bands too. And have you heard this band? Yeah. It's quite nice, like an education almost. And Eddie, if you heard the Leighton Buzzards, you're gonna really like it. I'm like, yeah, and I did. I love it. It's one of my favourite songs now. So it's. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The one thing I remember you saying, Eddie, is there's not a bad line in it.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's great. It's perfect. It's really nice.
It is.
No, it is, because I was listening to it again this afternoon when I was putting the show together, and it is. You sort of forget, really, don't you? I'm not sort of always big on lyrics, but I mean, there's with this, like you say, it's like Shakespeare, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no placeholder. It's all the way through. It's just bang on. It's like, oh, that's right. It's brilliant.
Yeah. There's not an ounce of fat on this, is there?
No.
I think too, like being like because they obviously grew up just outside of London, but the song's about going into like the big city for the big Saturday night out, and it really kind of sums that up. Like all the lines in it are so great and poignant, and
perfect.
What it's like.
Yeah, brings back memories. Let's listen to Leighton Buzzards.
Yay!
Leighton Buzzards and Saturday Night Beneath the Plastic Palm Trees. That's not something you get anymore, is it? It's quite common in the 70s.
remember the Tower Ballroom in Birmingham. I saw New Order, Happy Mondays, and the Wonder Stuff all on the same bill, and they had some plastic palm trees there and a rotating stage.
Blimey. Tower Ballroom, that was the one that was kind of like on a lake or something?
It's on a reservoir, yeah.
Reservoir?
Yeah, in Edgbaston.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's sort of been open and closed a few times over the last few years, but it's been going for decades. But it's a strange venue. I think the Smiths played there as well.
That's right, they did. I googled it recently for some reason. I was thinking about it. You're right. It kind of reopens and closes, and I think it's currently closed.
I think so. Yeah. Well, everything's currently closed, really, isn't it?
So, definitely closed at the moment.
No kidding.
That's
Why
it.
is that?
Yeah, no, I have no idea.
What's going on?
Yeah. So what's it like in Berlin? Is everything closed there? No clubs, or is there no gigs there, Eddie?
Yeah, pretty much. It was weird actually. We were on tour when all this sort of happened. We were on tour. We were supporting the Subways on tour in the UK. It was like, I don't know, 1,500, 2,000 people a night.
Yeah.
And I got stopped right in the middle of it. And I think the UK locked down a bit after Germany. But I went home from like playing a show in Manchester in front of loads of people to being in Berlin where everything was shut and everyone was wearing masks. It was like a real thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
But which was like a bit of a strange feeling. I quarantined myself for 2 weeks just in case.
Yeah.
And then it slowly. It was opening up a little bit. We were supposed to play some rescheduled shows in October with like 500 capacity, but they've just changed it now to April.
Yeah.
The things that they're trying to open up. The pub, the 8mm bar that I live very near, is they have music on a Thursday now. It's just 20 people are allowed inside.
Yeah, that's
but it's it's better than nothing. It's kind of getting there.
Yeah, I think it's tricky, isn't it? Really, because it's the whole idea of a pub or a bar is that it's packed out and you go down there and you sort of meet people. It's not the idea that you sit at a table. But as I say, these
it's not.
They've got to do this to survive.
I was like, that was not ideal, but it was so nice to see some live music. And last week I took part in this art project called Museum of Live Music, and in a building in Berlin, they built a museum to live music. They were pretending it was 2065.
Yeah.
And live music had never come back. So you've got a guided tour of how live music used to be.
Yeah.
And it ended like with a surprise show. I covered Roadrunner, and I did Emily came by us, and then King Khan and the Barbecue where they played. And Gemma Ray played a couple of songs. But just that, it sounds awful, but just crossing a stage and going to a fridge and getting a beer felt like it's like, oh, I've missed that, you know, like just the feeling, like, as well as the playing, but it was like, oh, there's that I've missed all of it, you know. It was like such a thing I've done like so often in my life, and I've not done it in like forever, you know. It was just, oh wow, this is, and people weren't expecting, because it was quite funny, the idea, the people that did it, this Museum of Live Music, people didn't expect, I don't think, it was quite humorous, feel such a emotional reaction to it. People coming out like not in tears, but really like, oh yeah, this is a thing, you know. Like,
I bet, yeah.
It was a really good piece of art. I think it was just fun to only 20 people could watch a show at a time.
Yeah,
it was quite nice just to be playing, and to play Roadrunner was perfect, you know.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
People weren't expecting there to be any live music, and I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, it was kind of it was good for me. It felt good. Yeah.
Of course,
really?
I've been to a lot of gigs where even before the lockdown, social distancing wouldn't have been a problem. So maybe those bands could still tour as normal. But, so you know, I always say turn a disadvantage to an advantage. So maybe this is the time for unpopular bands to rise up and take the stage.
8mm, where it's just 20 people, every band sells out on a Monday morning at the moment.
Yeah. So is there what about the financial? Speaking as a promoter, what about the financial side of it though? Are the tickets more expensive?
No, I mean they're pretty a good decent DIY bar. It's like, you know, it's the price it would be. You know, the band gets the money, but it's just not. It's not that much money.
No, that's it. Well, we'll see.
Doing it for that, I think. People are just doing it to feel alive again, I think.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that it's not a prediction of the future and that live music does come back. But there you go. So
it's funny. I saw somebody post something recently. It was I was playing to 20% capacity rooms way before it was
fashionable. That's right. So what's it like in California, Dave?
Same. It's like, I mean, there's nothing. I've not been out, there's Los Angeles. There's nothing. Even, we have that place out in the desert. There's that a club, Pappy and Harriet's,
I know
which
it,
Eddie's
yeah.
been to. Yeah, they're starting. They're doing limited capacity, distanced shows. Nothing big.
No,
but just small things. But it's the same.
Yeah, there's some outdoor stuff going on around here. The pubs, most of the pubs are open. You just have to give your details in, and
they're not here. They opened it first, and then it kind of got people were stupid, and they're closed again.
Yeah, I mean that's maybe the way we're going, but it's table service. I always hated going to the bar and queuing. So as I say, every cloud has a silver lining, I suppose, doesn't it? But,
it is nice though, because most of the, I'd say about 50-75% of the places have figured out some sort of outdoor seating.
Yes, that's okay in the summer, isn't it? But it's okay in California, but it's not.
Well, good for Los Angeles. It's always summer, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, you're fine. You can sit outdoors.
But on Sunday here it was the record high ever. It was. I get confused with centigrade and Fahrenheit, but in Burbank it was 114 Fahrenheit. Wow. And in nearby Sherman Oaks it was 121 degrees, which is an all-time high.
Yeah. Yeah,
I know.
It's been nice here today, to be honest, Dave. we've not had any drizzle for 4 hours. It's been fantastic. Let's play some music. How about T-Rex? That's Eddie and Hot Rods. Do anything you want to do, or want to do. Sorry, I was trying to do it properly there. So, that's a great single. I remember that. I saw Eddie and the Hot Rods as well, about 1979, I think. And, they were a good band, really good band live.
I saw them in 78 with the members.
Oh, yes.
At Wolverhampton Civic, good old Wolvo Civic.
Yeah, it's sadly closed at the moment, obviously. But that's nothing to do with it. That's just sort of ongoing renovation work, and I don't know what's be a while, a year or so, I think, at least, that opens again. That is a great venue, though, isn't it? And the Wolf Run, really good.
Yeah, so my first ever gig there was a Bebop Deluxe, supported by the Steve Gibbons Band, Keeping It Brum.
Yes, that's right, Steve Gibbons. Still going. He played a couple of days ago, outdoors at the Blue Piano.
Right, really? Wow.
Yep, still going. Amazing.
Gibbo.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. I think I got very drunk at the Eddie and the Hot Rods gig. I was very young, obviously, and I think it's the only and it's the only time I've asked for a band's autographs, apart from Frank Sidebottom. So, and I don't even like autographs. I don't know why. I was just so we're just having a drink after, and I thought, I'm probably expected to ask for their autographs. So I got them to sign it. I know.
How can we ask for Frank Sidebottom's autograph?
But massive fan, Frank Sidebottom.
Yeah,
no.
Absolutely.
Frank Sidebottom was very nearly in a band with me.
Really?
I had a band called we did one thing for Gideon Co. I had a band called At Last, the English Travelling Wilburys.
Yeah.
And it was me and Luke Haynes and John Moore and Eat Up of the Pops.
Is that Luke Haynes from the Auteurs?
Yeah, Luke Haynes from the Auteurs, yeah. And John Moore from the Mary Chain and Black Hawk Squad.
Oh.
Frank Sidebottom, we were going to cover the end by the Doors, and Frank Sidebottom was going to do the talky bit,
Yeah.
At the end.
So
He got the dates wrong.
So
He
what?
got the dates wrong. So he stayed in Timperley.
Yes. He was great, because I used to promote Frank a lot, and he used to stay at my house, and he used to stay for days on end sometimes, which was hilarious, because it's just like having the sort of funniest older brother you could imagine.
As Frank, or
no, as Chris, because when he put I don't know how well you knew, but once he put the head on, he was Frank. So
my friend Paul played in his band a bit. Paul Guided Missile played with him. Great stories about just being Frank Sidebottom.
Yeah, and Jack. What are you doing, Paul? John Ronson as well. He was in his band as well, because John Ronson, he wrote that film Frank, which was sort of very, very loosely based on.
Yeah, I've not seen the film. I read the book he wrote too. He wrote a book about it too, didn't he? About being like a short book about being in Frank Sidebottom's band. Which
Yeah.
is really good, actually.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's a nice bloke, John, because he used to kip on my sofa, and Chris Seavey did, Frank, he did as well. So I watched that film. It's a film written by somebody who used to sleep on my sofa about somebody that used to sleep on my sofa. But no, I was a massive Frank Sidebottom fan. We were doing a pantomime, but sadly he died before we sort of got it finished. I mean, it would have lost. If we're going to do it at the Civic Hall, it would have lost a fortune. So maybe it's just as well it did it. It did it in like a 2 1/4.
I was DJing a few days ago, and I DJ'd his version of "Hit the North."
Yes.
And someone was like, "Who's this? Is really good." I'm like, "Oh, it's some kid from like." And then Frank Sidebottom was like teenager. Like, I said it's Frank Sidebottom, and they were like, "Oh, is he new?" And I was like, "Yeah, he lives like Italy. He's a teenager." I was like, "Yeah, it's funny."
That's a great version. That "Hit the North" is a really good version.
Yeah.
It's,
I was playing it in this bar I DJ sometimes, and like we were into it. It wasn't like it's a really good version.
Yeah.
Go on the arcades.
Yeah, maybe get a resurgence.
Restores your faith in today's youth.
Yeah, that's it.
Hanging at Frank Sidebottom.
Yeah. I tell you what, let's play another track off the album. So David Newton and the Mighty Angels, and this is "Avoid It." That's David Newton and the Mighty Angels, and "Avoid It." Another absolute cracker. I mean, it is. Every track's absolutely brilliant on this album. How do people buy it, Dave?
How many? Say that again.
How can people buy it? Because I'm sure people are going to be.
It is available if you want. It's on the usual platforms like the iTunes and all that. And if you want a physical copy, it's on Bandcamp. I guess is the best way of getting it.
Okay. And what do you post those out? Do you from?
I do.
Yeah.
I put a little note in there and a little personal touch.
I think there was a sticker on it, wasn't there? I saw Rupert Nolden's copy, put it on Facebook, and it had Pioneer Town as the postal address.
Yeah, that's where our desert place is.
Wow.
Right next to the post box. The what do you call it? Mail post office is right next to Pappy and Harriet.
The Pioneer Town. That's proper old America, isn't it? Really.
Well, it is. It was actually Pioneer Town was actually built as it was built as a movie set. It was built for making Western movies. I think Roy Rogers was investor. A bunch of Hollywood types, because they were filming so many, films out there because it looks like the Old West.
Yeah.
That they built Pioneer. It was built in like the 40s, I think, mid 40s.
Gosh.
And it's crazy.
Yeah, no, sounds brilliant. So let's so that people can get it on Bandcamp, and I thoroughly recommend that people do. And are you planning on playing live at any point? You must be itching to play these live, mustn't you? Because it's stepping out from the from being in front of the guitar amp into the bright light of the microphone.
Yeah.
After all these years,
maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a bit weird at the moment with everything, of course, but. I don't know, maybe at some point. I've done a couple of gigs, I don't really do it a lot, but, I've done it. I actually played at Pappy and Harriet. We supported Peter Murphy from Bauhaus and Love and Rocket. Sorry, not Love and Rocket. And what else do we do? I did one or two things, but it's an occasional thing, not a regular occurrence.
Right, so you don't fancy touring around Europe with it?
Not right now.
No.
Not right now.
No. Expensive thing to do as well, isn't it, to get everything over?
It is, yeah. I mean, it's just, it's a fun thing, really.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go back to the music. There's a band called The Boys that I know this single Brickfield Nights is one of your favourites, isn't it, Dave?
It is. I love that band. It's really funny because, like, when I was a teenager and I was on pocket money before I left school and actually got a job, and it was right around the time that the punk thing was happening, and all of my mates at school would buy, who were into the same stuff that I was into, they'd buy, records by The Clash and the Sex Pistols, and so I'd like to try and find ones that everybody else wasn't buying, because I could go around their houses and listen to their records.
Yeah.
So I'd go for ones that were a bit off the beaten track. And that's how I got into the Boys.
Yeah.
In fact, I can tell you how I got into the Boys. I borrowed the album Alternative Choppers just from Wolverhampton Public Library. And I couldn't believe how great it was.
Yeah.
And so then I bought Brickfield Nights, the single.
Yeah.
And it's a brilliant record. It really is.
And
they're still going.
They are still going. I did a little bit of.
They're still going. Yeah.
They were going to do a tour of China in 2015, but it was cancelled by the Chinese Ministry of Culture.
That's bloody hell.
That's after they got there. They turned up there all excited and had to go home again.
I know.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I know.
Is this one of your favourites as well, Eddie?
It's another one of the ones that Dave actually got me into. I think, quite often in this place in Pioneer Town, we sort of get drunk and play each other's songs, and this is another one of those ones I think that they played, and I was like, this is really good.
One of the great lines in it, which another of my friends picked up on recently, or I got him into it, is then the girls came with their long hair, high heels, and their makeup never quite right. Yeah. Brickfield Nights. Which is such a great line.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
That sounds good. I can just imagine listening to this in Pioneer Town. Yeah, drunk in the middle of the
it's
desert.
Quite hard because Dave, I mean, you're both just a tiny bit older than me.
Yeah,
it's quite hard to Dave, this is the Mekons. Yeah, I know Mekons. Dave, this is You mean nothing for me to give back. It's quite nice. It was a nice education.
Yeah,
the stuff I was missing.
Yeah. That's it. Okay, that sounds great. Let's listen to the Boys. That's the Boys, Brickfield Nights. I think that's from 1977, isn't it, Dave?
78.
78, yeah, 78. Yeah.
April 1978.
Yeah, I've got one of those. They used to do. They did some Christmas singles as well. April. Obviously, what's the catalogue number? Obviously we're Facebook friends, and if there's just a sort of Birmingham Music Archive and a Wolverhampton Music Archive, isn't there, on Facebook?
Yeah.
And someone will mention any obscure band from anywhere around the region, and you know you've been to see them, you've got the single.
I should get out more.
Yeah,
I should get out less.
Yeah. They should have a museum. I can just see you curating a museum of Midlands music.
Oh God.
or punk rock, something
Maybe.
like that. Yeah, but there's
a mine of useless information.
There's a band, Eddie. This band that you mentioned just before we played, that was the Mekons. Is that a band that you're aware of then?
Yeah, I love Mekons. Yeah. It's what Dave was saying earlier about how he bought lots of you could hear famous punk songs at his friend's house. I think by the time I came along, I knew all the famous punk songs from just hearing them all the time. So I remember I used to buy cheap, secondhand, weird, independent punk compilations and stuff. But I got one that it was Mekons, EVPs were on it, I think.
Yeah.
Wire maybe. It was it was a real thing. Wow, Mekons are amazing. But I didn't know they were so famous. To me they're some small band.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, when I got older on the internet and everything, okay, Mekons, everyone knows Mekons. But I love them, of course. I met, we played from, I met him and everything. We played in Chicago at the Hideout party does and stuff, and it was, it's great actually. I love the Mekons.
Yeah,
that's where they live.
It's not one of the ones that Dave taught me. I knew this one.
Ah, right, yeah. I saw a great gig with the Mekons and Gang of Four at Leicester Poly in probably about 1979 or 80 or something like that.
It's one of the bands I never saw at the time in the day. I think because that they would play at 18 and over venues when I was 13, 14. I couldn't get into clubs, and I never really played the bigger venues. And I didn't see. I only saw them for the first time 4 years ago.
Oh, right, okay. Well,
they were brilliant. They're Pappy and Harriet.
Oh, right, okay. You have some great bands on there. I think we spoke about it when you were on last time, didn't we?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But they were brilliant. They were great. And I met John Langford through a friend, and he was a smashing guy, and a brilliant guy.
Oh, he's great. I promoted the Three Johns in the 80s.
Yeah,
and it's that's...
John Hyatt's from Wolverhampton. I used to work with his dad.
Yeah,
John Hyatt from the Three Johns.
I didn't know until later that John Langford from the Mekons was in the Three Johns too. It was I did, lots of things like that. Before the internet, I didn't know anything. I just had all these records and didn't know anything.
Well, I mean, how would you though? You that's the thing. You wouldn't, would you? You just get this stuff.
You wouldn't. No.
No, I didn't know anything. I had a record. I just didn't put it together in my head. I mean, we played. John. He lives in Chicago, doesn't he? He put on like
John Langford.
Hideout Festival. So I met him in Chicago, and I met Cynthia Plastercaster the same day. It was a very strange day. It was,
I know.
it was nice to meet him and be like, "Oh, you're a real person."
Yeah, no, I think she's cast a few people that I know. So
I think she did. John
She didn't cast me because I was nervous of her, and then she was nice though. It was a weird conversation, and it was lovely and everything. And the next day we played somewhere else, and someone said, "Oh, Hannah Montana's here. Do you want to meet Hannah Montana?" Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, I don't." Is that like another? It was a bit weird. I said, "I won't meet her." I thought Hannah Montana was like a Cynthia Plastercaster character. It's Miley Cyrus. I didn't know that. So I turned down meeting Miley Cyrus because I thought she was another 70s. I don't know, it was strange. Anyway,
yeah. What a showbiz life, though.
It is.
That couple of weeks.
I'll pull out the photo of me with Natasha Bedingfield at some point.
Oh, yeah.
The first time we got our visas for America, we were in the queue behind Natasha Bedingfield, and Echo and the Bunnymen, and the cast of Harry Potter. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. It was just, this is the life. Yeah. In a very long queue for a visa.
Yeah.
Ian McCulloch not taking his sunglasses off and getting in trouble with the security guards.
It's a fascinating showbiz life. It's been...
it is, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Those are my two soapy stories. Yeah. I shoehorn them in.
Yes, yes. Yeah. I always say, you can't... people say, why don't you write a book? But you can't tell the best stories, can you, really?
No.
That's true. That is true.
And
I can't remember a lot of them. I have to be reminded of a lot of them.
That is the problem as well, isn't it? That we think we're having such a good time, you can't remember it.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we're going to play a track that I think is one of both your favourites, Dave and Eddie. Is Serious Drinking, Love on the Terraces.
Yay!
Let's give this a go. Serious Drinking, Love on the Terraces. I haven't heard that for, gosh, I don't know how long. A long time. That's a great track.
Classic record.
Yeah. So our time is pretty much up. I can't believe how fast it's gone. I know I say this every week. Still, the thing is, we wouldn't have been able to have done it because it's nice to have people in the studio. But seeing as Eddie, you're in Berlin, and Dave, you're in California, it would have been far too expensive, wouldn't it, to have done it anyway? So really, and it's not been too bad, has it? I think technically we've come through it all. So it's been great. It's been lovely chatting to you and chatting to you again, Dave, after all these years, and Eddie as well.
Likewise.
Yeah, and lovely to meet you virtually, at least anyway, Eddie. And
yeah, you too. It's been nice.
Yeah, it's been really good. Thanks. I've really enjoyed it. Played some great stuff, and really enjoyed talking to you. And hopefully we will be able to meet up in the real world at some point.
That would be great. Next year we can all get together. Hopefully.
Maybe I'll come over to Joshua Tree, go to Pappy and Harriet's, and get drunk in.
There you go.
Sounds good.
You're welcome anytime.
Okay. Well, thank you ever so much. And so we're going to finish on. We've got a few minutes left. We're going to finish on another David Newton and The Mighty Angels, and My First Band. And it's got a great line. Is a gateway to a lifetime of disappointment.
Yeah, I love that.
Yep.
So you can remember to get this album on Bandcamp, and I really recommend everyone goes out and gets it. And thanks ever so much. Absolute pleasure talking to you. Thanks, Dave.
You can listen to it on other things if you want.
Yeah, well, you want people to buy it, really, don't you? I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't talk about the other things. Anyway, this is My First Band. There's some great lyrics in this as well. Thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks ever so much.
Thank you for listening to this Brum Radio podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and rate us on your podcast app.